So I stand here before you on behalf of the Living Proof Live team, past and present, because I am the mother of the group, and it is on their behalf, those who lived in Nashville with her, who were her constant companions and her dearest of friends. They would rightly be telling you all sorts of stories, endless stories about her, but I will do the best I can to represent these loved ones. If somewhere along the way you've had the privilege to watch two people fall in love, maybe you would have some sense of what we felt with Mandisa, because we watched 20,000 people fall head over heels in love with her. It was a match made in heaven. For the women at our events, it was absolutely love at first sight. Chance Scoggins, our dear, dear friend and a fellow member of our team, was on the plane with her on the way back to Nashville from that event that had left us nearly speechless. And he said to her, "Mandisa, what are you doing?" And she said back to him, "What do you mean?" And he said, "I mean, why do you have a voice like this and you are working in customer service at Lifeway?" And she said, "I love my job." And I can just, she had said it perfectly like she would have said it, and I say it to you the way you will hear it in your mind. And the thing about it is, we know that she did, because that was part of her charm. Whatever she did it with every molecule she had. And he said to her, "Mandisa, why are you hiding?" And she said, "Don't you make me cry, Chance Scoggins." She wasn't to be hidden for long. The Bible study Breaking Free had released about the time Mary Mary's song, Shackles, hit Christian radio. It was a natural for our events in that era, and it became Mandisa's signature song on our platform. She owned that baby. She owned that stage. She made it hers. She hit a note so high, it gave us all a nosebleed. Then there was this one event where I asked her, as I'd been asking other team members along the way, "Would you speak a word to the group?" Because I had a group that could sing like, to me, no other team could sing. But they could also speak a word. They had their own relationships with Jesus, and I wanted them to share out of it. And I knew she had hers. And I said, "Would you take a moment to share a word with the group?" She said, I'll try to." And that is when it happened. That's when we realized that Mandisa could indeed do it all. I looked at Travis and he looked at me, and we knew it was going to be bye-bye birdie, because she was about to fly. Mandisa had an impact on an audience like no one I have ever seen. She was simply sublime, utterly mesmerizing. Every word, whether sung or spoken, hit a resonant chord with her audience, and she loved Jesus in a way that made everyone around her want to love him. I cannot think of a single person who ever served on our team that resented what a favorite she became at our events, because we knew that girl. We knew her backstage. We saw her life and her love for Jesus. We witnessed her worship when no one was looking. We would see her in the back of an event center or a sanctuary, dancing before the Lord. And I don't know what you're picturing, but at that time it was much more like a ballerina than anything else. Whatever she did it with everything she had. And we heard her pray. I've heard it said that you really learn something about a person when you hear them pray. Now, I don't know how often that is true, because a whole lot of people that deeply love Jesus may not feel comfortable praying out loud. if it was true of anyone, it was true of Mandisa. Our team always had prayer time before we came out to serve on the platform. We were serious about what we did, serious with a very serious and defiant joy. And when we would pray as a team in a circle, when it came Mandisa's turn, if she took it, no one was under compulsion, I would notice every single time that the more she prayed and she was sitting down, the more her foot would lift. And it would lift, and it would lift, and it would lift, and it would lift, until it was higher than her waist. And I would think any moment now, her foot is going to meet the Lord in the air. Not terribly long after that fated event that she had to miss, we got contacted by her. I think it was Travis that she called and said, I want you to know where I am, because she would never have missed an event had she not had to. And that was when she was auditioning for American Idol. The spotlight was very expensive for Mandisa. It is for all of us, especially if we are Jesus followers. It's just that too few realize it. I'm not sure anyone comes out unscathed in one way or another. Certainly numerous Christian artists and communicators come out on the other side without public scandal, but fewer without a holy passion that's been reduced to production. Fewer full of faith rather than fake fire. And it is so very exhausting to fake holy fire. It is a dangerous thing. And making it out without selling our souls will not ever happen accidentally. I was sitting next to Travis in a restaurant with our team last Thursday before an event when he received a call from Tammy. And he said, just to my right, could you speak a little louder? What did you say? We're in a really loud restaurant. I instinctively knew something was wrong. Then I watched his face when he heard her name. He jolted, physically jumped, like he had been hit by an electric shock. And then he said her name with a whisper, Mandisa. There was no need to ask which Mandisa. There was only one. Even our grief is fashioned in the image of God, who despised death so much. He sent his only son to the cross so that he could be with his people forevermore. We're here on this whirling orb for the merest moment. We have the lifespan of a vapor, James said. And as Job said, our days are few indeed, and our troubles are many. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 calls our lives a moment's trouble. And when you take that into account, think how blessed we are. Just think what we've had. We've had these glorious moments within a moment here to know and love and serve together in these frail bodies, with these flawed hearts, within these momentary troubles of our earthly lives. We've had these little mini moments, these milliseconds, these momentary ecstasies, like laughter so hard our sides hurt, like musical harmony so tight, so otherworldly we are transported to another place, like love suddenly so all-consuming our hearts swell and throb and press painfully against our ribs, like a taste of cheesecake that you hold on your tongue and you close your eyes and sigh and think there is a God in heaven. Like a glimmer of light on that mirror we see darkly when we behold ourselves in one another just a little more as Jesus sees us. Like the veil between earth and heaven thinning so mysteriously that we feel like we could reach out and touch the hand of God. And in her own words, like watching a sunrise and feeling like you cannot breathe. The beauty of it is, most of us in this room have had these very moments with that very woman. When you leave this place today, determined to take those moments within our moment here on earth, because it is that moment and those moments that get us through these moments. When to be human is terrifyingly vulnerable. When to be human is to want to cuss. And there has been a good bit of cussing since the news broke out. I shall not divulge from whom, but they were legion. If I were to write a book based on this moment alone, I suspect it would be called When Godly People Cuss. The subtitle would be Living in the Wake That Was Mandisa. You know what makes many of us in this room want to have a throwdown fit? That the Lord Jesus reserved the right to be the only one with Mandisa when she took her last breath of this terrestrial air. That's what we're mad about. That was his choice. He picked her up for a date. I want you to know that Mandisa knew how to be alone with Jesus. And she was never, never, never alone without him. As it turned out, what Mandisa asked of the Lord over and over again in the presence of many other witnesses, he did indeed grant. He took those shackles off her feet so she could dance. Do any of you have that Merlin app on your phone that you can take on a walk and you can hit a button for a sound ID and you hold it up like this and it tells you what birds are singing? And it might be a cardinal, it might be a lark, it might be some kind of wren, it might be a sparrow. I hope so much we have one of those in heaven. Because when there's all that singing, I want to hold it up like this and I want to see that name. That was Mandisa. I'd know that sound anywhere. One sweet day there will be no more night. One loud hello and not a single other goodbye. So we do not lose heart. For though for now it is this, soon and very soon it will be bliss. Psalm 98:1. Oh, sing to the Lord a new song. Sing, Mandisa, sing. Darling girl, dance and sing, and we will join you soon.